Hello and welcome to Barham High School podcast, where we talk about all things important to Barham High School. As it is deep into term 2, there have been lots of sporting events to keep the students fit. Let's hear from Mr. Lethbridge to give us a wrap-up of the sport activities Barham High School has been involved in.
Okay, welcome Mr. Lethbridge. Let's start with the athletics carnival. What happened?
Oh, well, it was a wonderful day for a start. Often the weather is not our friend, but it was a good day. It was glorious. We had good turn up with the students, and the participation of them during the day was great. It was wonderful to see so many students being involved in as many events as they possibly could.
Agreed.
Yeah, sometimes carnivals get a little bit of a drop off here and there for whatever reason, but no, they were there, and they were there in numbers, and they were participating. So, and I think that affected the overall result, because I had it all lots of little bits and pieces to look at, and girls and boys and houses and years and all this sort of thing. The participation points were huge, which was what it's all about.
Exactly. And we had a very busy format all day, so the kids really kept that momentum going all day, right through to the novelty events at the end.
Yeah.
And we all want to know the outcome. Who won?
Well, I gave the outcome to the kids on our recent assembly, because they were just the same. They wanted to know. Cadelsley did not win. They were third, and Tullacuta second, and Barimo was first, which was excellent, because last year, as discussed, they were about 300 points behind the nearest house. But this year they've come through and they've won. And a lot of it was the number of kids that turned up for Barimo. The boys, if I just looked at the boys' points, the boys from Barimo did really, really well. The girls from Cadelsley did very, very well, but they still finished third, Cadelsley, so, have a look at the boys there. But overall, Barimo they were the winners. There was only 60 points from first to third, telling the kids through the week, when we were encouraging them to do the long jump and triple jump at school, not during the carnival, that the points were really close, and it was going to be a matter of who turned up and who tried, and it did. In the end, it was good to see that the house that had the most participants was the house that actually won.
Good turnout for Barimo.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yes. Which is the best house, I must say, but I run it, so I'm unbiased. But I'm glad they won.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right. Who were our standouts in each age group?
Our 12 years winners were Levi and Italia. The 13 champions were Ryan and Eliza. 14s were Frederick and Breeze. 15s, we had James and Eliza. And as I said on the assembly the other day, James and Eliza were repeat winners. They won the 14s last year, and they've backed it up this year. 16s went to Hayden and Madeline, and the old people, the 17 pluses, they were Mitchell and Tanika. And the winners there, they were sort of split amongst all the houses. There were a few Barimos there, which is, they won the day. I suppose they should have more winners. But yeah, all those winners they were amongst all the houses.
Good, some good consistency from year to year.
Yeah, everyone had their stars.
So moving forward with athletics, we've got Zone Carnival coming up.
Zone Carnival's on Tuesday upcoming. And we've got more than 40 students going over to Finley to compete. And that's not counting the dozen or so or more that have said they won't go for whatever reasons. They got, like, seniors have got studies, or they just don't think they'd be, they don't think they'd be competitive enough, or whatever reasons. But still, we've got a quarter of the school going to a carnival. That's not bad.
It's very big, isn't it?
It is. It's huge. I couldn't imagine, bigger high schools with 500 or 600 kids having 150 of them going off to a carnival.
Yeah.
It's just unheard of. So for Barham to have a quarter of their student population representing, it makes you feel pretty good, actually. You think, well, the kids, they've got a good attitude. They want to do the right thing. They want to participate. They want to get involved, and it's really pleasing.
Yeah, it's really excellent when they grab those opportunities.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, we've also had the cross country this term. It's always a nice little afternoon. Tell us about what happened there.
It is. We had a new course this year. Instead of going off to the forest at Kundruk, we held it around the Barham Rec Centre. So I went out and made a course of, it was at least 2 or 3 kilometres. It might have been a couple of different ones, but we'd had a warning not to go to the forest because there was the Japanese encephalitis floating around. So we thought, oh well, best not to push that. So we headed off to the rec reserve and we had our runners, we had our competitors, and then we had our walkers. And again, as long as they did the course, they got their points for it and so forth. But Baraimo won that one as well. So this has been real change from Baraimo. Like you were saying just before, that they used to win nothing. And last year's, in Term 4, we had our Creative Arts Day and they were the winners there. They've won the cross country, they've won the athletics carnival. They didn't get the swimming, however. But, it's been a real resurgence in Baraimo. So go the Yellows.
Excellent. I agree with that. And they've gone off to Balranald.
Balranald, yeah. Now, this is the second year we've had the Balranald zone cross country. We didn't really have a zone cross country for a lot of years, as far as I know. I can't remember any, and I've been in Denny and Finley for about 15 or more. But Balranald hold it up there at the golf course and they run around. I'm assuming they don't play golf at the same time. They're not dodging golf balls or anything like that, but they run around there at their various tracks and courses. And we had 12 people qualify to go to Riverina, of which 8 of them are in Gundagai right now. And as of recording, they're probably running around in the mud and the slush over there at the Gundagai race course.
Yep, and the freezing fog.
Cold, fog, wet, and that's a normal day, I think, at the cross country.
Yeah.
So they'll be striving to get into the top 8 there, and if they do, they'll make their way off to, or they'll qualify for Sydney. And they do that around the Equestrian Centre at Sydney. I've never been to that, but it used to be at Eastern Creek and they moved it away from there. But the Equestrian Centre, I don't know if it's hilly or if it's flat or what. But
it's actually the Grand Prix racetrack or the racetrack for the cars.
Oh, okay.
So it is a little bit hilly, and I've only been once, and it was wet and cold.
Well, it's a cross country day.
That's miserable.
That's what it's got to be. It's like it's the only weather you can have. Luckily, we didn't. We had a good day here.
Well, that'll be exciting. We'll probably hear from about how some results have gone in a couple of hours.
Yes. Well, it won't take very long to get the Riverina results for cross country and then zone next Tuesday. There'll be more people lining up either to go to Albury for athletics early next term or to state cross country, I'm sure.
Yep, that'll be really good to hear, and we're grateful for all the involvement of the kids in their athletic achievements. Thanks, Mr. Lethbridge.
Oh, that's all right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mr. Lethbridge, for that review of the sporting events. Now we're moving on to some special programs that have been running in the school, one of which is called Boys to the Bush. To tell us more about this, we will hear from Jacob.
Hello, Jacob. Could you tell us what you did at Boys to the Bush?
What we did at Boys to the Bush was first week we went to fishing at the Murray Cove Farm. We bet the school. We got 6. Last got 48, and we won by getting 66 fish. Week 2 was mulching, helped mulch around like people's yards, houses and that. And third week did more fishing because we didn't go to the thing we were meant to. And we went to the Catalina plain in Lake Chum or Boga, I think. We learned about there. They found a gun in the river from like old world wars and that. And after that, we went out for lunch. And week 4, we went to Pyramid Hill and climbed Mount Summit. We climbed to the very top, even though we probably weren't allowed. And after that, we had some lunch, fishing, came back to school. It was to also help us learn more about ourselves, how you could face challenges out of school, and help us get out of our shell and talk more freely.
Thank you for that report, Jacob. The next event was something called AVISTA. Zoe and Keisha are going to tell us about this curriculum-based program.
So Zoe, what is AVISTA?
AVISTA is a free, in-person science show for schools both rural and regional to teach students about the wonders of science, how they work, and what jobs you can do in the science genre. They are partnered with Physies Education and do science tricks in a way of showing how science works.
What did you see in the show?
I remember the robot dog was controlled by a remote. It could jump, roll over, sit, walk, and run without hitting walls due to the sensors in its head. Another thing we saw was the host, Steve, almost lit an empty tea bag on fire, which made it fly into the air. We were also shown the vortex rings. The top of a bin was covered by some sort of cloth, and the other side had a hole. Using a fog machine, Steve filled the bin up, which shot out a fog ring when the bin was hit.
What made the robot so memorable?
It moved in such a cool yet weird way, and it was so fast for a metal object. The fact that it could stand without falling over from all the weight is amazing. It would step in the direction it was leaning to prevent itself from falling over. It could also jump without falling over because it would step to stabilize itself. And the sensors prevented it from walking into any walls, objects, and people.
Thank you very much, Zoe, for explaining the VISTA program.
What a great way to showcase science and STEAM at school. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Barham High School podcast. Join us again next time.